Hello guys, this is Brian here with an update. Today is June the 20th, 2018. Here's some updates. Now, I'm using my cell phone because my Logitech webcam is not working, so I don't know where to stare. I don't know if I should look directly into the camera or at the screen. Who knows? So, probably think I'm looking off to the side, but I'm looking at the screen here. Whatever Windows 10 did an update a couple weeks ago, it screwed it up really bad. And I tried to install, all kinds of crap, and it wouldn't work. So I went ahead and ordered a new webcam from Amazon, newer Logitech webcam, and it did the same thing. It would not record at all. And apparently other people's having the same problem exactly when Windows 10 did an update a couple weeks ago. There's something wrong with the Windows 10 operating system. I think what's happening is the webcam records as a WAV file for some odd reason. I don't know. It won't record and it won't recognize the file at all. So I'm using my cell phone. I'm trying to look for another brand of webcam and see maybe that will work. So on to the updates. I had my surgery, hand surgery back on last month, May the 15th, and everything's okay. My hand and elbow is healing up pretty good. My hand is more tender and sore still, obviously, but I'm not taking any pain medicine at all for that. So I'm doing doing good there. What else? Oh, I gotta tell you the updates about the back situation here on my back. I never got around to making a video. Before I had hand surgery, back in April, I had a discogram done on my back. And it did reveal that I do have some tears on some discs. That was kind of complicated because my pain management doctor, because the pain management doctor does the discogram, not the spine doctor. I don't know why, but that's how they do them here. My pain management doctor left his practice because Baylor Scott & White was closing the pain management clinic, which, to my knowledge, he was the only one in there, so I don't know why he had to close it. I don't know. He said Baylor is getting weird, although now he's at the other Baylor under a different practice name. So there was a gap. Well, during that gap, I had to go to another pain management doctor to have that procedure done. And that doctor was okay, but I prefer my old pain management doctor. So I went back to the spine doctor, and he read all the results of the discogram and the CT scan I had afterwards. He said that there's really two options. You can do a spinal cord simulator, which that's what they kind of recommend, or lumbar fusion, which at first I didn't. He did kind of tell me how bad it was, but it didn't sink in right there. Lumbar fusion is very, very invasive. Some people, depending, they can go through on the side, in the back, but with my particular issue with my spine, they would have to go through the abdomen and the back. So you kind of be cut on both, the front and the back. And he's kind of concerned about my weight about doing the lumbar fusion because they may not have surgical instruments that's long enough to get to the spine through the abdomen. But the general surgeon does that part. So there'll be two surgeons. The general surgeon who does the abdomen, and then the actual spine doctor does the actual spine part, the back part. And I kind of told him I want an underlying problem fixed. Because kind of to me, the spinal cord simulator is a band-aid over it. But now, the more I think about it, It's hard surgery. It's very invasive. There's no guarantee that will work. Once it's done, you really can't undo it. If they can undo it, sometimes they can, sometimes they can't. He said it's extremely difficult to fix it if it doesn't work. So he kind of said, well, think about it and think about doing maybe a spinal cord simulator. So, for the longest time I still thought, well, I still want the underlying problem fixed. Well, the good news is I went to my old pain management doctor. They sent me a letter where he went today. And, I was in there for an hour and we discussed it. Usually, pain doctors kind of frown upon if you switch pain management doctors. I told him the situation. I said, since you left your practice, I had to go to another one to have the imaging done and all that. And he said, that's okay, no problem there. He understood because of that particular situation. And I told him, I liked him, and I trust him better than the other one. Because I've been going to him for a good 3 to 4 years now. Even though he moved kind of farther away, out at the very edge of Frisco. So it takes a long time to get there. And, we had, I was in there a good maybe 45 minutes to an hour. And he said if he was in my shoes, he would not do a lumbar fusion. Especially at my weight. He did say he would recommend doing the spinal cord simulator. Just like the spine doctor said, the lumbar fusion is very invasive. And the recovery time is pretty long time, like the spine doctor said. And, in medicine, in medical field, there's no guarantee. So, there could be a chance that it won't work. The spinal cord simulator is less, because way less invasive. And if it doesn't work, or if I don't like it, or it can be removed real easy. It can be taken out. So he said that is a good option. Now, to start the process, the insurance company, he said Blue Cross, United, and Aetna, pretty much all the big insurance companies, they require the patient to go through a psych evaluation, which I don't understand why that is. I have to do more. I'm going to look that up on the computer to find out why. What's the purpose of that? My particular case, and pretty much other people's cases too, have all this imaging done and all these steroid injections done and all this. So what's the point of having a psych evaluation? I don't know what's the purpose of that. So he gave me a name of one, and they said the social workers do that too. But the name he gave me is the person is out of network with Blue Cross, but the actual psychologist is a network. So I'm going to have to call them tomorrow and ask them about that. In the meantime, I will have another steroid injection done July 3rd. Yeah, July 3rd. So it's something to think about the spinal cord simulator. I'm kind of more leaning towards that now. At first, when the spine doctor kind of brought it up about a year ago, beginning all this, I kind of, like I said, I kind of wanted the. I'm not intentionally looking to the side. I'm just looking at the screen. I was kind of leaning towards surgery because I want the underlying problem fixed. But the spinal cord stimulator, like I said, it's less invasive. It just really hell, apparently, because one of my distant relatives had a lumbar fusion done about 3 days, last week or beginning of this week. I think Friday, actually. But hers was much easier because they went on the side instead of the abdomen. It's just more difficult when I had to go through the abdomen when you're overweight. So, like I said, I'm kind of leaning towards the spinal cord stimulator. Now, let me tell you how it works. They do a trial period. So, therefore, it's not implanted permanently. What they do is they kind of tape it. Well, they don't tape it. Kind of like a belt that you wear, kind of. And the implant, the leads come out of your skin for 7 to 10 days. And that's where they can program it and make sure it works, okay? And if it does work, then they do the actual permanent implantation. They do last between 7 to 10 years. He kind of told me there's different kinds. You can get the one that does feel like a TENS unit, so you have that tingling feeling. There's also ones that do not have that, and I told him I do prefer that one. I don't want that tingly feeling. I had that, I had a TENS unit before, and it's okay for a while, but after that, it drives you crazy. It feels good for an hour, but after that, no. He said he could have a rep from the manufacturer to call me, or one of those reps to call me. And I said, okay, no problem. So there's a lot of stuff to think about, and really, this does not have to be done overnight. So I'm probably thinking at the end of the year, maybe next year, to have this done to get the process started. What else? Because also, the general surgeon that the spine doctor uses, it left Blue Cross Blue Shield's HMO network. However, when I called their office to ask some questions, they said they will do out of network referral. And I'm gonna have to call Blue Cross and ask them about that, because I believe under my HMO plan there is no out-of-network coverage, nor or either that it's like $15,000 deductible. I think there's none, actually. If I come to think about it, because it's all Blue Cross's policies. Now, however, the only situations that they have to pay in-network levels is when you go to a hospital and have any services done. So I'm wondering if that comes to play. It's thing here in Texas. They could still balance bill you, and the doctor's office said we don't balance bill people. Like, for instance, if I had surgery out of hospital and the anesthesiologist is out of network, Blue Cross will still pay something, but the out of network provider can balance bill me. Because essentially you don't have a choice of providers when you go to a hospital like that. So, I have to call them and ask them if the general surgery if I go down that road. So there's so much to think about. Another thing, let me give you some tips about something. Always get a copy of your medical record. Ask for a printout every visit. When you have imaging done, get the CD yourself and the results. Since I had to go through all these doctors, that come in handy. Because otherwise, you have to wait for the doctor's office to fax it to the other doctor's office. And they play that fax game. Sometimes they claim they received it, sometimes they claim that they didn't receive it. And when you show up at the visit, there was no paperwork to begin with. So, always get a copy of your medical records. And here's the envelope. Let's see, I can show you. See, this is the whole thick of paperwork I bring with me to the spine doctor and the pain management doctor. And this is those two, really. It's kind of thick because I got my medical records before, when he left, when my pain management doctor left. They provided the medical records. So, I'm also beginning Monday physical therapy. I chose when I had physical therapy a long time ago, about 2-3 years ago, I went to a physical therapy place and I didn't like it. It was really a patient meal, meaning tons and tons of patients. Like the physical therapist would have like 3 patients at one time. It was quantity versus quality, and I just didn't like that. The physical therapist was nice, but it was just like it was herding cattle. Basically, the people were nice, but I just didn't like it that way. So I chose a mom and pop, just one physical therapy place with one physical therapist, and they're real nice. And actually, they're next door to our State Farm agent. And I went in there and got a business card, and they're real nice, and they finally got that set up. Now, when I contacted my primary care doctor back at the physical therapy setup, they said, okay, no problem. Well, apparently, when the HMO referral, when the referral lady called me back, they said, well, we're not for sure if we had to put the referral in or they do. And I said, well, you have to. But everything got fixed. They approved 6 visits, even though it says for 18 on the prescription. So I don't know if Blue Cross is playing that game or whatever. Oh, by the way, Blue Cross, I did some videos about Blue Cross's emergency room payment policy. Blue Cross and the Texas Department of Insurance came to an agreement that they're going to delay this for 60 days because the insurance commissioner sent some letters to Blue Cross asking them all kinds of questions. And Dallas Morning News did an article about that, and they had a copy of the letter that they sent to Blue Cross, asking what is really the purpose of this policy, and why are they not really focusing on educating members of using in-network versus out-of-network emergency room situations. And one of the questions asked, is this due to concerns of healthcare fraud? If so, has Blue Cross Blue Shield reported any healthcare fraud to the Texas Attorney General or local authorities? Now, of course, probably not. Regardless if you go in, regardless to the insurance company's eyes, regardless if you go in network or out of network, they're going to pay the same. So I don't understand what the hell's the big deal. Now, the only person that's going to be really screwed in this situation is the member, because they can be balance billed. If the hospital's out of, emergency room or hospital's out of network, and you have something simple done, and in reality it costs $1,000 at an in-network hospital, the out-of-network hospital can charge $20,000 outrageously high, and they can balance bill you. So Blue Cross needs to educate people to use in-network hospitals only. That's what they need to do, instead of telling them, well, we're just not going to pay, and all that crap. Because regardless where they go, the insurance company's going to pay the same, basically. But I'm still kind of on the fence that I think it does violate some laws, and And hopefully the insurance commissioner come after Blue Cross. Blue Cross used to be a fine, upstanding company, but now, for the last couple of years, it just became a third-rate company. It is shitty service. Now, the benefits are okay, my stuff gets paid for, but it's just third-rate customer service, and it sucks. They have no fucking clue what they're doing because they're third-party contractors. This video is getting long enough. So, everything's doing okay. I'm doing okay. Gotta think about the spinal cord simulator and the lumbar fusion if I really want to go down that road. And I'm really leaning towards the spinal cord simulator because it's not going to be invasive like the lumbar fusion. Now, the spinal cord simulator, there is 2 procedures involved in that. They do the trial, then you go back and have it implanted, and you get knocked out for that again. So, there's 2 procedures involved in that, and the pain management doctor and the spine doctor said it's not invasive. It's outpatient surgery versus lumbar fusion, which it can be 3 to 5 days in a hospital. So I've got to think about that. Have any questions, comments, please post them below. Talk to you later. Oh, by the way, I do have some product reviews I'm going to do because I got a whole bunch of them. They kind of got piled up because the damn webcam stopped working. So keep an eye out for that, and hopefully pretty soon I get, start doing them because I'm kind of excited because some new stuff I found. So have any questions, comments, post them below. Talk to you later.